ResortLoop.com is brought to you by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. Enjoy Joffrey's new single origin coffee, Peru Cafe Femenino. Available at Joffreys.com and at the Joffrey's kiosks throughout the Disney parks and resorts. And the best part, the sale of Joffrey's Coffee Cafe Femenino gives back to worthy projects and programs that enhance the lives of women and their families in coffee communities. That's Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
To the left of our forward motion, just beyond the trees, is the Walt Disney World Golf Resort, which lies in the middle of two 18-hole championship golf courses.
This is how we start off the show, Tony. I know it's just crazy pandemonium. And then you never know when we're going to start. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott.
Bob Collar, what kind of start was that?
We're just starting right out of the gate.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, very excited. We've got a very, very special guest on today, Tim. This is exciting, crazy, filled with a bunch of numbers that now my head hurts.
Numbers, I hope you didn't mean he was crazy.
Well, he put the numbers together, so...
That's true. Joining us is author and fellow podcaster, Tony Caselnova. Tony, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's a zippity-doo-dah kind of day.
Is it? Where are you?
Yeah.
I'm only 12 minutes from the Magic Kingdom. So.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
that'll do it.
It snowed up here in Ohio. Yeah.
No, it's not snowing down here.
Yeah, Tony, do you have to pay to park in your driveway?
Actually, I have now. One side is premium parking, and the other side is regular.
Nice.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I just thought that was fun.
Of course, everybody knows Tony from the Disney Parks podcast, and of course, his incredible book, which is what we're here to talk to him about, Disney by the Numbers. And it, again... gave me a huge headache reading all this. I love it, though. I'm just kidding, because it's talk about the perfect book for anybody who loves Disney trivia and maybe, you want to beat people at Trivial Pursuit, the Disney version. This book is fantastic.
Yeah, it is good. I had a lot of fun doing it. It's taken, a long time for this to actually come to fruition. So it's been a pretty wild journey. So,
well, why don't you tell everybody, Tony, tell everybody how you got interested in Disney and all that, because you worked there for a little while.
I did, and that's really how it started. It started back in the 90s when I was a cast member in Epcot doing security. And they used to give out these books in the break room. I'm holding the original one in my hand. It's called That's a Fact. It was the official facts about the Walt Disney World Resort. And really what the purpose of this book was, it had important phone numbers and contact information in case you need to, call somebody, 911 and you didn't know what 911 was. Or the number of the different resorts or golf courses or things like that. But it also had kind of talking points to, engage guests in conversation. You could say, how big is blah, blah, blah. And, this book kind of had some facts in it. And this really is what got it started. And each month, well, it wasn't, I don't think each month, because this one is labeled fall, winter. So it's probably quarterly that they would give you this book. So you kind of had to hold on to it for a while. But this was really the impetus of what really started. I mean, there was tons of facts in this little, what was this, 31-page guide. And I just started collecting them. Every time I got, one I threw in my pocket and took it home. And after I left, working for Disney, what happened was the History Channel created those shows that we all now fell in love with, that whole series. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm sure everybody's got the box set at home on DVD like I do.
Yeah.
But that show, when I was watching it, was filled with facts. It seemed like every other sentence they were saying a fact about something. I was like, hold on. So I started recording them, and then I would watch them, my little TV stand and tray table thing, and write down all these facts. And I started doing that, and then I'm like, maybe I should do some research. I started going to libraries and getting guidebooks and, books about the parks. And I just started then researching and trying to collect as many facts as I could. It all started on spreadsheets. I just kind of listed them. There was really no order or madness to the method of my collection at the time.
So you were just doing this for yourself. You weren't necessarily thinking, hey, down the road I'm going to write this book. It's going to be great. Absolutely not. I had no idea of a book, a website, or podcast, or any of that. I just, it was interesting to me because one of the things was when I first went in '76 was I was more or less interested on how did they operate this park every day. All these people came. How did they, get people in, get people out? Where did all the trash go? How did everything, operate? And how did they, do it day after day after day? They were open 365. How did that all happen? I really wasn't, how did the rides operate and, how do they maintain them? I wasn't really interested maybe in the magic so much or meeting characters, which was probably crazy. But I was more or less interested in the operation of the whole place. It's, when you think about all of the things that go into running that business, just our podcast, your podcast, our podcast, the amount of work and time that it takes and the things that we do, and then you think of the grand scale of what the whole Walt Disney World complex, the 43 square miles has to go through. It's daunting.
Yeah, it is. And, between the guests, the cast members, and vendors, they say usually on average there's about 250 to 300,000 people on property, Disney's property, each and every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's like a little mini city.
Oh, yeah.
And they are their own city, too. But that's a whole nother story. So after I started collecting everything, I was watching, it was Call for Help, which was a TV show by Leo Laporte, who's also a great podcaster, has a great pile of podcast shows. He doesn't even call them podcasts. I think he calls them netcasts. And he was showing this software where you could, on a Mac, it was called Rapid Weaver. You can, buy the software, you can type in, things that you wanted, whether it was a blog or just facts or information, and then hit one button called Publish, and they would shoot all this stuff up to the internet. You can create menus. And I was like, well, this is great because I know nothing about creating a website. And I said, all right, hold on. So what I did was I went out, I bought an Apple computer, I bought this software, I started playing around with it, I bought a domain, Disney by the Numbers, and I started publishing it to a website. And I figured, all right, this is going to be just me publishing stuff to the internet, and nobody is going to care,
Right.
And that's the way it was for a while. But people then started finding it. I started figuring out how to, generate some better SEO and get it, into Google. And Google had better ways of working with websites and things like that. And then I started getting emails from, people in college and high school, saying, hey, I used your website, for, a paper I was writing on Disney or a thesis or I was writing on, theme parks or stuff like that. So I'm like, hey, I guess people are using this information now. So
that's neat.
Just, let it ride. And
there you go.
Yeah. So
definitely an incredible resource for all of the things going on down at Walt Disney World. And one that I really liked was 7 million pens are purchased by Walt Disney World each year.
Yeah.
7 million. But now when I'm going down, it's 8 million because, I tend to walk away with a couple of those pens. But,
I tell people that's the cheapest and best souvenir you can get at Walt Disney World because you can't even buy a pen for under like $7.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So whenever you go out to eat, take the pen. When you're in the hotel room, take the pen. They're complimentary.
Absolutely.
Well, they're complimentary with your vacation that you've paid for.
Exactly.
An awful lot of exactly.
Yeah.
So you cover all of Walt Disney World. You cover all 4 parks. You cover even the extinct attractions, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
And then you also cover all of the resorts and even the water parks. So just everything that is down at Walt Disney World. What would you say is one of your favorite facts or numbers?
Oh gosh, that's really tough. For me, it's the stuff around the Magic Kingdom because it was the first park they built. I think they release more information about that park than any other. So, and it was the first park that I ever visited and ever saw with my little tiny eyes at the age of 13. So, I think it's the stuff around the Magic Kingdom that I find the most fascinating.
Right.
And especially when you talk about things about the Utilidor and stuff like that. That usually gets me the most excited.
I didn't write that one down, but the amount of the speed, what is it, like 60 miles an hour that the garbage flows through those tubes going out?
Yeah, that's... who would have thought that they would have used a system like that? I mean, that was back in the late 60s, they were designing it.
Right.
It was built in the 70s. So who would have thought of, let's build this trash system that's going to suck the trash to the compactor so we don't really have to cart it around.
Right.
I think
other than the Death Star, nobody has come up with that.
That really could be an attraction.
I just watched Star Wars for it, so that's on my mind. But I got to tell you, one of my all-time favorite statistics that you put in here, the numbers, is 194,871 miles of toilet paper are used annually. Almost 200,000 miles. We could go to the moon on just the toilet paper.
We could TP the moon.
Could TP the moon.
TP the moon. Here's a fact that I'd love to get, and I keep asking various cast members anytime I see them holding the masking tape. They put all that masking tape down for parades and things like that now, at the end of the night to try and get people out more efficiently. And I keep asking cast members, I'm like, hey, how much masking tape do you go through on a shift? Do you use it 1 roll, 2 rolls, 3 rolls? I'm like, can I see that roll? Because I want to invest in that company.
Yeah.
I want to take stock out in that company because, you guys use probably more masking tape than anybody in the world.
It's funny you say that because I told my wife the toilet paper statistic, and she said, we got to buy stock in whatever they're buying, toilet paper wise.
Exactly.
Go to the bathroom and find out.
Right. No, in my luck, I'll buy that, and then they'll change brands. And
it may be single ply, so you might not want to.
I'll be stuck holding it.
A couple of years ago, didn't they advertise, Brawny in the bathrooms? It was Brawny paper towels.
Yeah.
I haven't seen those signs in a while, so maybe they got rid of Brawnies. Maybe
I think they did.
With somebody.
It was whatever the parent company is, because some of them said Brawny and some I think said Sparkle back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Whoever was willing to pay for the branding, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This was an interesting statistic for Walt Disney World. I thought this was very cool, actually. The average tenure of a cast member is 9 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty. Most people think, there's got to be a massive turnover over there. With kids coming for the college program and all that, but 9 years—that's a long time for people to hang around. So must be pretty good.
And the Polynesians got the longest tenure. The resort cast members there because it was the original resort. I don't think any of them left. There's probably all the original cast members there. I probably, if they were to do like a little. Anniversary of the Polynesian, which they really don't celebrate the resorts very well. They do the parks. Occasionally, when the anniversary's up, they'll give out buttons in the lobby. But they really don't celebrate the cast members, which I think is a shame. Because they're really the ones that do the work that keep the resort open.
They do. They're the front lines.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I wonder if any of you folks out there listening in Looper Nation are a cast member, know a cast member that has been there a long time. Let us know. Is there a some sort of ceremony after 10 years, after 20 years, whatever. Like a lot of companies do. I'd be interested to find that out. That's cool.
Yeah, I know this year, I think it's in Disneyland, they're giving out for the first time ever a 50-year award.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
They do have a cast member that has been there 50 years. So, I don't know when that ceremony is going to happen, but hopefully they'll post some pictures. I have some cast member friends that give me Eyes and Ears, which is a cast member magazine they publish weekly.
Oh, because that person has seen some history.
Yeah.
But they have stories. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it used to be, back in my day, it used to be like a newspaper, and now it's more like a magazine. It's, the last 3 pages are usually ads.
Oh, really? Wow.
It's really almost pretty funny of what the content is in there. It's like, 1 or 2 articles and then all advertising, which is a shame because, that's, for me as a cast member, that's usually how I found out what was going on in the parks. Right. And I've now had cast members and different people within the Disney company either email or come to meetups and say, hey, I listened to your podcast because that's usually how I find out how things are going on inside the company because you guys usually know. And then tell us all. So, it's interesting that they're not even getting, good information from, their internal sources. So,
wow. That is interesting. Yeah.
Now, what are the ads in there? Are they like for Zootopia? Or are they like for restaurants outside the parks? For
they're for restaurants and dentists and medical and places to live, cars, services that they provide to cast members. And usually, if they show their pay stub or their ID card, they'll usually get a discount for those kinds of things. There's usually a huge book. It's probably maybe 100 pages or so, of all of the businesses in and around the Orlando area that will give discount to cast members. So it does have its benefits outside of the parks.
Interesting.
That's very interesting.
That's very cool, yeah. Another statistic that I find, trivia, I should say. This is more trivia than anything else. Is the year 1915 is used on all the Main Street vehicles because that was the year Florida first started to use license plates.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Talk about details.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing, and I really wish they would use those vehicles a lot more often than they do. It's usually like, the first hour the park is open in the Magic Kingdom, and then they all disappear for the day.
Right.
I remember as a kid riding the fire truck. I remember, riding the double-decker bus down Main Street.
Oh, love the bus.
I don't know what they do with those vehicles now or if they even have them.
They don't see too often.
I don't know if you remember, you used to be able to take a bus around World Showcase in Epcot.
I was just going to say, I wonder if those are the same buses or where those are.
Yeah, same buses. Who knows where those are? Because they had like little bus stops, and you can just stand there and wait, and then hop on the next bus and take it back to say the International Gateway or wherever you want it to go.
That would be tough to do now with as tight as it is over at Mexico. That's kind of a tight little walk over there. Funnels people in. So another one I love. Speaking of Epcot, Innovations Fountain. 23 countries brought water from 23 different rivers and lakes from around the world to put into that fountain. I never knew that.
Yeah, that's how they did the initial kickoff of that fountain.
I'll never look at that fountain the same again. That is so cool.
Yeah, I am sure that water is all gone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know, but still.
It's there in spirit. It's there in spirit.
It's there in spirit. That's true.
Tony, this is an awesome historical reference also. I know we touched on that. I was looking at the Monsters, Inc. laugh floor. When do you think that started, Bob?
Oh, Monsters, Inc. would have been...
Because to me, it feels like it was like 3 years ago.
2007?
Yes.
Hey, how about that?
Right.
9 years.
That's a good guess.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I wish they had more Monsters stuff. I like that movie.
Yeah.
So the university thing was a little weirdish, but I do like that. That I'm a huge Pixar fan. I know one of you guys went to Pixar, right?
I did, yes. I got a chance to go in there. Wow. Talk about incredible. It is it's something else. Whole different. If you guys can get a job working for Pixar, it's got to be up there with, we see these stories on like Google and Amazon, and they're riding scooters around, and that's literally what's going on at Pixar. They were playing a little soccer game out in the front yard, just to relieve some of the tension, get the creative juices flowing again. It's just I don't want to go to work tomorrow.
I did an adventure by Disney, the South Hollywood, where they take you backstage.
Oh, yeah.
We did the Muppet Studio, and then we did the Walt Disney Studio in Burbank. And I really wish the two things they should add to that ABD is Pixar and then the Family Museum. And that would really make that thing like super complete. Add, like 2 more days, get you up to Pixar and then up to the Family Studio. And that would really complete it.
That would make it the ultimate Disney fan adventure.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But standing at the Disney Studio lot, and you've seen pictures of Walt in certain places, standing or sitting.
Yeah.
And then to stand there, right now, just talking about it, I'm getting goosebumps.
I can't even imagine.
It gives you're like, oh, weird. This is really weird because this is where he stood. You can see the picture of him, maybe. We always seemed to have his hands on his hips. And I'm getting goosebumps again. To be, in the building where he was and all of the 8 old men were creating stuff. It really gives you freaky deaky, goosebumps that you're like, wow, this is where it happened,
Yeah.
So I really, if you want to go take an adventure by Disney, and listen, they are expensive. I'm not going to say they're cheap, but
right.
I will say this: it is a concierge type experience. From the moment you land, you literally just get your bag. Somebody is there to greet you. Takes your bag, and you never touch or see your bag again.
Wow.
They transport you to the hotel. Your bags are up in your room, or will be up in your room. All right, fine, you have to unpack. You put your stuff back in. You leave the bag in the room. When you're transferred to another hotel, they come and get the bag out of the room, transfer it for you. Every bus that we're on has water and snacks and things like that. And it is... a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You go to places you really can't go. We were in Walt's apartment in Disneyland. They do. You can't go in there if you beg enough. If you're nice to guest relations and you do a certain amount of begging, you could probably get into Walt's apartment. But you go into Walt's apartment. We went into the Dream Suite, which is over at Pirates of the Caribbean in Disneyland. The Muppet Studio, which is not an open lot. So we went there. We actually did some Muppet stuff. And the Disney Studio, too, which is also a closed lot. They don't give tours much like Pixar doesn't either.
Right.
So,
right.
But,
wow.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
Somebody was telling me that I think it's Caltech gives an art class or something like that. And part of that art class is that they take you to the Pixar studio for the day.
Wow.
Yeah,
nice.
so if you're in the California area and you want to get a tour of Pixar, go take the Caltech art class.
There you go.
Animation class, and I think that includes a 1 day at Pixar.
It wouldn't surprise me because I believe that's where Lasseter.
Yes, that's where the A113 comes from.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When did you go on that tour?
That was probably 2 years ago now.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. So still fresh. That's probably what they still do today.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's pretty close. They change up a couple things depending on the time of the year, whether summer or winter. They even have adults only version. So if you don't like kids, they have an adults only version of the Adventure by Disney, where you have to be, I think, 18 or older.
I wonder if that's a whole different. Not completely different, but a different tour in that they don't want the kids to lose the magic, so they won't show them as much of the behind the scenes stuff as they would the adult version.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
That would be interesting to do that one as well. Tim,
yes.
Start loosening up those purse strings, my friend.
Exactly. We need to do this.
I want a raise.
Every time you say that, I say I'll double your pay.
Right.
I've doubled it probably 12 times so far.
I know, and I'm still seeing zeros. I don't know how that happens.
I don't know.
What's going on with that? Oh, my
I'll
goodness.
triple it this time.
Well, wow, thank you.
No problem.
Isn't he kind, Tony? Oh.
You need a Tom Staggs package.
The golden parachute.
Oh, my goodness. So, hey, let's get back to the book, though.
Yeah.
Because I thought this was neat. And a lot of people say, look how expensive Disney is. Going to Walt Disney World is expensive. And it is, quite frankly. But still, this number kind of put it all in perspective for me. For the show Fantasia, cost them $20,000 every show.
Yeah.
$20,000.
I think that number is even a little bit low, because I've heard now that number is around $30,000 a show.
Wow.
Recently. Someone was telling me, some cast member, and I'm not sure if that's even, so, and, I try to verify facts in at least one or two different ways, because, if a cast member tells you, you go, oh, yeah, that's great, thanks. But you don't know what their source is, where they're getting it from. Usually, if the cast member's been there 20, 30 years, I would probably tend to believe them a little bit longer, or I would believe them a little bit more, because they've had the tenure. They've probably, seen things come and go. A new, say, like college program person, their manager or supervisor will tell them, some facts or information about the area they're working in. That's what my manager did. And, so you don't know their background, where they've gotten that information from. Was that just somebody else recently telling them in traditions, which is now only 2 days and not 5? So you kind of have to, figure out the chain of information and where it's, come from. Wikipedia is not a good source of information.
What?
As much as you'd like to believe it. It really isn't. I usually try to get it from books, Disney books, or other, good published sources. If, Disney's got a press site, they have a lot of information on their press site that you can get, if you can get access to. That's a great source of information. And, Disney seems to publish in different various books. There's the little field guides to Imagineering. Those were great little sources of information for different things. So you want to kind of verify, where you're getting that from. But I would believe that the cost of that show has gone up in recent years.
Oh, I bet.
Just because the cost of labor has gone up. That show is cast member intensive.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot.
You think sometimes they do that show twice a night, and on the extra evening hours, magic hours that they do. That's a lot.
Right.
Exactly.
And, so talking of that, it's kind of interesting when they said they were going to do a show with the Animal Kingdom. And, they said it was going to be, the way they were describing it, I was thinking it's going to be Fantasmic-ish, with the water screens and, people on boats and yada, yada. So that was like, well, if that show costs a lot of money and is cast member intensive, why are you going to try and reproduce that in another park? I know they complain about that show, and it's always, on and off, and one show, two show. They go back and forth with that. So it was interesting that they decided to do it again in the Animal Kingdom. So
an awful lot of people love that show. So and those seats are always full. It seems like I don't think I've ever been to Fantasmic where it hasn't been just packed with people.
Yeah, and I don't know if a lot of people would know it or not, but after they fill up all the bleachers, they stand another 2,000 people in the back.
Wow.
2,000.
So, yeah. So, if you don't get a seat, there's still standing room in the back that they fill up. It's usually 3 or 4 deep on that top deck where, they kind of have the snacks and that. That's all filled with people as well. So the next time you go, if you do have a seat, just turn around towards the end of the show, and you can see all the people standing behind you.
I could not imagine doing that after walking around the park all day and then standing to watch Fantasmic. I think I'd just say, you know what, we'll catch it another time.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and with a kid on your shoulder.
Right.
You know, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm 3 inches shorter because I had kids on my shoulders all the time. So believe me, I know. How often, Tony, do you update the book? How often does the book come out?
Yeah, so this was our first publishing. This came out in September.
Okay.
I hope to kind of almost make it a yearly thing. I'll have to go back and revisit this in September and see, because there's going to be, Disney is like a living organism. It's always changing and shifting, and things are coming and going, and they're adding more things. I mean, Hollywood Studio, I could probably, fit on one page now. The extinct list on Hollywood Studios is going to be, probably more than the stuff that's active. But hey, in the future, there's going to be a whole great new chapter to the studio, but we're going to have to wait quite a while. So I also want to do a Disneyland book. I was thinking a cruise line book.
Yeah.
I do this thing on my website too called Dateline Disney, where I kind of have, and I haven't really been good with it lately, historical information, I think it's by month now. It's by month. But I was thinking of doing almost a Dateline book, so you can see, from the time that the Disney company was created, and then you can see, different points in time, different movies, different parks opening, different attractions opening, different attractions closing. Some kind of Dateline book I thought would be amusing.
That would be
so
awesome,
that you can pull it out by decade, the 20s, the 30s, kind of like a pull-out kind of book.
Yeah. Well, there's so much Disney history out there. That,
there is.
And,
there really is.
Information, like you said, it's a living organism. The entire company, and we see problems that are going on in Shanghai that are creating ripple effects all over all the parks around the world. But folks, if you want a book that's going to be such a great source of information for you, like I said, great for trivia games, great for you to play, and we've done this now with your book at my house, where I'll ask my family questions and they'll just be like, oh, there goes Dad again. I just can't get enough of it, but you got to check out Disney by Numbers book, the Disney by Numbers book. It's just so full of incredible information, like Tim,
yes.
Did you know this? Since the opening of Disney's Animal Kingdom, there have been 40,000 samples of animal poop analyzed by the lab technicians.
That's about what I would have thought.
How Tony found this out, I don't want to know.
Was that a hands-on study, Tony? How'd you find that one out?
Yeah, I was, let me go do a poop analysis over there.
That is
I
awesome.
thought that was awesome. Oh, my goodness. How did you find out that information?
That was published by Disney.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when they, when I was doing my stint as a security guy, one of my jobs for a couple weeks, I believe, the Animal Kingdom didn't exist. And they said, well, you're going to have to go work the construction site over at Animal Kingdom. I'm like, oh, that sounds great.
Sold.
Thanks. So literally, I was standing in. Now you're gonna have to use your imagination. And some of you may not even know what a phone booth, what? A phone booth used to look like. It was a very small square box that had like a little door that would slide, and you used to close the door and kind of make a phone call. It was literally a phone booth without a phone on this little dirt access road, and the trucks were really at this time. They were either, I think, bringing the dirt in to start building the area up, and literally, I just had to make sure that they had their access ID so that they can drive down this dirt road. So there was nothing. There was no air conditioning. There was no phone. This was way before cell phones. I think I had a radio. because I had to call somebody if I had to go to the bathroom.
Right.
I had a radio, and it would take the guy forever because he was usually coming from, I think at the time, Disney. Well, it wasn't Disney Springs. It was downtown Disney. I think he was in that area, and he'd have to come over, and he would get out of the car. I'd get in the car and then go drive to one of the break rooms to go to the bathroom, or to go on my break. So yeah, that was my first experience, and maybe that's why it's not my favorite park. It's because I was standing in a phone booth sucking dirt for 8 hours at a time.
So see, those jobs at Disney are exciting.
They are.
It's so exciting.
But
you
never know. You never know what you're going to wind up with.
Exactly. And there's, one of those wonderful behind-the-scenes moments.
Yes.
Tony Caselnova. I got two more quick things that I read out of your book.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm telling you, Tim, I sat there last night.
I know.
Couldn't get enough of this.
I know.
My family's like, can we eat now, Dad? No, I'm reading Tony's book. This was awesome. 33 million, or no, I'm sorry. Is it 3.3 million? I can't say. I wrote it down and now I'm not sure. 33 million Mickey Mouse ice cream bars are sold each year at Walt.
Oh yeah.
33 million.
Yeah.
And then finally, my last one that I had to bring up because this is the Resort Loop. 50 million guests use the monorail each year, making it the busiest monorail system in the world.
Yeah. And I think that's even low today. I think it's even more than that.
Wow. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, folks, go out, get Tony's. Where can they find this book, by the way, Tony?
Yeah, they can go to DisneyByTheNumbers.com. On the left-hand side, you'll see the Disney or the DBTN bookstore. You can purchase your copy there. Right now, we're doing free shipping, and I'll sign it and send it to you. If you don't want to buy it from me, you can go to Amazon.com. If you're a Prime member, you can get the Kindle version. Nice. And even if you don't want the actual paper version, if you have any kind of smartphone, you can get the Kindle app and then buy the Kindle version on Amazon and get it that way too, which is a great way if you want to take it in the parks and annoy your family in the queue.
Nice. I love it.
Exactly. I don't think you're annoying them. I think you're enlightening people, Tony.
That's what we try to do.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know?
Absolutely.
We've only just touched on the information in this book.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over 100 pages, folks, of just incredible information. Tony's fingers must be just whittled down to next to nothing, typing all of this stuff because it is just so full of so much cool stuff that, like I said, I loved the almost 200,000 miles of toilet tissue. I don't know why. As soon as I saw that, I go, I'm writing that one down. I got to talk about that one. That is awesome.
That's a lot of custodial services.
Now, were they hung over or under?
Oh, but now that would be an interesting fact. Well, I think theirs just get mounted to the wall, so it's either left or right.
Oh, that's true.
Unless you're in a resort, then it could be over under.
That's
Gotta
true.
be over. Over is the only way to go.
Yeah.
Only way to go.
I'm an over type person too.
I hear you.
They say that's the only way to do it. So for all you under people, Tim, you're doing it wrong. You've been doing it wrong.
I'm not surprised. Well, Tony, you've been gracious enough to offer a free copy to one of our listeners.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
What?
I know.
Yeah.
What?
Free.
Out to Looper Nation. It's going to be. Is it autographed, Tony?
It'll be signed by me.
Oh,
unless
nice.
you want it signed by somebody else.
No.
Hey, Joe Rohde's going to be doing a book signing, people. If you ever want Joe Rohde's signature, that's a tough thing to get.
Yeah, it is. Tough to find him anywhere. He's usually in
he's always in the. Listen, if you want to find Joe Rohde, recently he's been in the Mara a lot for lunch.
Oh, so, I love the Mara.
Yeah, so you want to go stalk him, that's the place to go do it.
Maybe he'll sign your book.
And then he'll sign my book for you.
That would be awesome. Everybody's a big line for him and have him sign Tony's book.
If you get my book signed by Joe Rohde, send it to me, and I'll send you another copy.
You heard it here,
so
folks.
if you guys want to do a contest, do a little trivia contest, or whatever you guys want to do.
How about, hey Tim? How about we do this? How about we have Tony pick a number, and whoever emails us, whatever number email that we get, that number corresponds to, that's who wins the book.
Do you want to make it a little harder than that?
Wow, he's tough.
He is tough. Sure.
Let's see. I'm going to look at my 1995, 96, That's a Fact book. And let's see here.
Ooh.
Let's do this. How about this? Email you guys. Yep. You want to do email?
We'll do email contest at ResortLoop.com.
Okay. And if you can tell them the price of a Typhoon Lagoon adult ticket price in 1995. 1995. Typhoon Lagoon adult ticket price.
Okay.
Closest person without going over?
$198. No.
You throw in parking. I'm sorry.
No, that was a premium parking.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the closest to that.
Closest to that without going over.
That's right. And if we have some people the same one, we'll throw them in the ResortLoop.com randomizer.
The randomizer.
All right, there you go.
We'll get that out. You got to get those into us by the end of the week, by Friday. Get those guesses into us by Friday of this week, and the winner will get a signed copy of Tony's great book, Disney by the Numbers, that I just can't get enough of. And it'll be a lot of fun, trust me.
Outstanding. Yeah. Tony, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me on. I certainly love talking about Disney, as you guys know.
Absolutely. Oh, real quick, what is the number now for the number of Disney podcasts out there?
Oh, God, what are we up to? We're up to like 271?
271 podcasts? Or you guys?
Us guys.
Oh,
we're
Disney
up to 271.
Yeah,
Disney Parks, yeah.
How many total podcasters are there?
Oh, my gosh. A bazillion.
That's right.
A zillion. There you go. That's official, by the way, folks, from...
Everybody has one. I think my great-great-great-grandmother is podcasting about Disney.
That's nice. I think I've heard her show. It's good.
It's a very good show. It's awesome.
Back in the day, we used to drive around.
Oh, my goodness. They had to walk uphill both ways to go to Disney, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That's awesome. Well, Tim, that's all I've got for Tony.
Awesome. Tony, thank you again so much for joining us on the show for a very numbers-oriented episode.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I really enjoy it.
Tons of fun. Tony, where can people find you?
You can find me at DisneyByTheNumbers.com. That's obviously where you can purchase the book. The book is also on Amazon.com. Just look for Disney by the Numbers, and you can listen to me on the Disney Parks Podcast over at DisneyParksPodcast.com.
Awesome. Everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. You can find me on Facebook at Tim Scott. I'm sorry, I'm still not over that. Yeah, I'm a little bitter.
No, you're not.
No. I know. Twitter, ResortLoop Tim, and the website, ResortLoop.com.
I'm ResortLoop Bob on the Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, rate us over there on iTunes, and what else should folks do, Tim?
Absolutely. Tell your friends and share the gateway to the magic.
See you, everybody.